All right, welcome to the latest edition of the FPL America podcast. This is David Smith.
Travis Hoig.
Brian Shesko.
Gentlemen, this may or may not be our last pod of the season. We'll see about if we do a wrap-up pod because I, unfortunately, will be out of town this next weekend during the matches. I know in the past we've got together and watched matches on the last day. We've had them in the theater. We've been at houses. This year, unfortunately, I made a commitment, and I did not look far enough ahead in the schedule to see that commitment was going to be literally on the final day of the season.
It happens, man. This is your first season doing this, so we forgive you. You're just not used to planning for.
I'm definitely not used to Arsenal season coming down to the last day. For the most part. It's been a long time, at least not for the title, maybe for the top four. It was a few years ago for the top four.
Yeah.
But all that being said, regardless, things will be a little different. So in the past, we've had a recording on last day. It's been awesome. I don't think that's going to happen this year. So we will discuss afterwards on what we're going to do. All that being said, what a weekend of football. It was absolutely amazing. And then, of course, because of the double match week 37, multiple matches on Tuesday and then Wednesday. Wednesday being today, the day we are recording. So we have all the match week 37 matches have been played. So we can comment on them, we can discuss them and how that's going to affect decisions going into 38, the last match week of the season. Travis, you, my friend, had a monster week.
It's about time, right?
Scoring a 140 with a bench boost chip.
Yeah, bench boost.
Awesome.
Honestly,
well done.
Probably inside the. Hey, what are you trying to?
Look at that.
I just saw that
Brian's taming
what's the
spiders.
spider in Charlotte's Web? What's the spider's name? Is Charlotte? Is that Charlotte? It's Charlotte.
I would assume that
I just saw Charlotte come down from the ceiling here.
That's what you're pointing at.
I was pointing at it. And then Brian is corralling.
Brian's just making it mad.
It's fine.
I'm just trying.
It's just a little nice little spider who's just looking for a little gnat. Travis, your week this week, absolutely amazing. 140. I thought I had a good week with what was my final? 136. That is lower than a 40. Fast math there.
Nothing wrong with that.
Brian, you had a great week, 132. Now, look, there was across the board, the average score was 83. But let's be honest, the highest score was 174. You turned in a 140. That's pretty good. So congrats. Awesome work to you. I mean, look, in our mini league, you scored 50 points more than other guys that you are trying to catch. And so
that's right.
I'll just leave that there for what it's worth.
You're not going to tell everybody I'm trying to catch a 12-year-old?
Listen, Elliot came on the pod last year. And Scott's son, and at the end of the season, we had a guest appearance by Elliot, and which was fantastic. He joined the mini league this year. He's done pretty well. He's been ahead of you for a little while, and you are just running him down, man.
I'm trying.
You are running him down. You still have a chip.
Someone's got to, because Scott doesn't have a chance.
Scott just gave up. Scott gave up at some point.
Did. I think he's still trying.
You think?
Oh yeah.
Surely he can't. He can't feel good about Elliot beating him, right?
All right, look, this guy's never won the league before. He doesn't know how to play.
Okay, right. Okay.
All right, you're giving him too much credit.
Okay. All right, fair enough. He will love that, although he probably doesn't listen anymore. Hopefully he does. All that being said,
so many people do.
Travis, you are one of the few. I don't think many people have chips left. You actually have a chip. Hey, are you alive in the mini league
mini league
cup?
By 20. Last week.
Oh, did I?
In the mini league cup, Brian. I think you're in the.
I have a W in one of those.
Yeah.
No, I'm out. I lost this week.
What? Who'd you lose to?
Oh wait, what is this? What is this world?
Cups. Go to Cups.
Oh no, you're right. Andrew Wiebe. Sorry, what am I saying?
That's what you've already done it now.
What am I going to do? League Andrew over Tinker.
Okay.
Was my
he was a casualty
opponent.
this week. So do you have? Is the final matchup in the mini league ready to go?
It's got to be.
Is it queued up?
No, it is not there yet. I'm not sure
Oh,
who
that's
it's going
right.
to be.
The
but,
fantastic Premier League Fantasy FPL website just ticking along.
I've
slower than slow.
outscored my mini league cup opponents by an average of like 28 points per week, which I don't understand how that's possible. But
Well,
here we are.
All right, I can tell you who you're playing. You're playing League John, Magnolia Megs FC.
Okay.
Okay, I just figured out a way to look that up. So
nice.
now he's fourth place, I think, fourth place, I think, in the mini league. So he is actively still trying.
Oh, yeah.
He turned in a 125 this week. Oh no, that's not updated. He turned in a, let's see, click. Okay, he turned in. It did update. He turned in a 125 this week.
Okay. I mean, that's good.
So yeah, no, it's a good score. You turned in a 132. So hey, that's going to be a fun semifinal. I'm going to flick over here to the podcast league and check the cup. Why is it? There we go. Okay, boom. There we go. All right, now I'm looking at that, and oh man, no. This is so dumb. All right, here we go. There we go. All right, this week. Speaking of which, Sir Elliot, Scott's son, made it to the semifinals in the Podcast Cup. He lost this week to League Drew, Feather for Goal Post 9.
Whoa.
1X. I'm assuming that means 9.
Yeah, I imagine.
Right? And then two guys.
It could be Ix.
It was change name, League Brett. Lost to League Don Crookas.
Okay.
Okay, so in the final, it's going to be in the final of the cup. Feather for goal. I can't even say it. Feather for goal post 9 against Crookas, and both guys seem to be still trying. So that's good.
That's what you want to see, right?
At
Guys
minimum,
that are trying,
you don't want to
progressing.
You don't want to see a dead team sneak in there.
Yeah, I want to see a wide open FPL podcast cup.
Travis,
final.
by the way, you lost to Elliot in the podcast cup quarterfinal. So you got, I mean, all the more reason to try to chase him down.
I mean, I saw so many L's. There was no reason. Every time I clicked that tab, there was no reason to go back to it because I was like, oh my gosh, this is the most red ever.
I'm still bitter because it obviously does the matchups completely at random, and you and I played each other in the very first week of our mini league cup, and I'm like, really?
Yeah.
That was a little messed
How does
up.
1-2? Yeah.
How does 1-2 end up next? Yeah, I was a little bitter about that, but whatever. It is what it is. If you can't beat the guy in front of you, and in the first round, then you know what, you don't deserve to play him in the last round. So it is what it is.
What else are we here to do today?
All right.
I don't think anything. That's it. Let's pack it up, guys.
All right. That's it. Well,
I'm going on vacation. I forgot to tell you.
All right. 1 week. 1 week left.
1 week left.
There's chips.
Holy cow.
Travis, you are going to play your triple captain chip, correct?
That's all I got.
That's all you got, but you're definitely playing it.
Yes.
That's kind of exciting because it could be a massive haul. Like if you're going to save a triple captain, if you can nail it, there's sometimes some massive scores on last day.
There tends to be goals on the final day of the season.
Yep. So it's not a bad time. It's not a bad chip to save.
A better podcast would give you those numbers. It seems to be a heightened amount of carelessness. This season when we'll
At
go
the
through
beach.
There really is. There's no drama here.
Relegation's pretty much done. Top 4 is pretty much done.
We know who's going to win the league.
Almost. God, West Ham, just give one performance. Give us
Michel Antonio
just give one.
just goes out.
But
on
I guess the point is, even at the top of the table, it's not like Manchester City can't just pack it in.
Yeah.
They still have to win the game.
Right.
Arsenal can't pack it in. You have to win the game.
You can't. You still have to go out and beat Everton, and Everton's going to come to play. So will West Ham. So you just.
All that to say. All that to say. An Arsenal or City player is the best bet for a triple captain.
I would imagine so.
Yeah,
For me, at least.
I mean, look, right now, and we can talk about captains, Brian. I don't know, like.
I think Tottenham cares about goal differential, so maybe
Travis, I'm trying to figure out. Give me your advice here. I'm trying to catch Brian. You
could murder him.
I probably need to. Well, no, that would not be.
It's
good.
not an insurmountable lead. That's the thing.
It's a 10-point lead, right?
It's
so
close.
so that's reasonable. But I feel like if I pick the same captain as you, I'm concerned. Like I feel like now's the time to go differential.
Yeah, and this is why I think some of the names we'll go through when we get into the,
You captain Anthony Gordon since he doesn't have him.
I mean, I just think that.
I mean, if he plays, but Anthony Gordon's garbage away. If he was at home, yes.
I mean, not today he wasn't, but
he was at home.
No, they were.
Oh, they were away.
still.
They were away.
Yeah.
In my face. Okay.
No, but I think once you go through the teams and you see what I would say are the realistic options, because I think the first thing you have is if you've been paying attention for however long and you set your team up for a successful double game week 37, your players are pretty good. And right now, as it stands, barring red triangles or some sort of other problem, you probably have a benching headache as it is.
Yeah.
So and then all of the I would say the trendiest players, you just kind of go down through the line at each position, but just take midfield for example, you probably have 3 forwards that you're okay with right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you're going to play a 3-4-3,
I mean,
or if you're going to switch
you should have
a
whole team that you're okay with if you bench boost last week, right?
So so that's why I think a lot of the strategy this week, it comes down to do you want how far off of the how big of a swing do you want to take here, and how much do you need to make up, and so let's get into it. We don't have to talk.
Let's do it.
Only a little bit about what happened in the actual matches.
Right, I agree. I mean, I can talk about my heartache when Son misses a 1-on-1.
Yeah,
and Spurs sort of gave it to City for the entire game, and still, you know what it felt like, Travis? It felt like when Arsenal played Liverpool in that FA Cup match, and they outplayed them everywhere,
and couldn't finish,
and they lost 2-0. This is exactly what it sort of felt like. Now, City, it wasn't that bad because City played fine, but Spurs, you look at the stats and you're like, those really the stats for that game?
Yeah.
The stats were crazy in the Spurs' favor. I would have never guessed that.
Yeah.
So
Ange wasn't lying. They really did come to play.
They did. Absolutely came to play, and they were not able to get it done. So therefore,
more possession,
I'm
more
sad.
shots, more touches, more passes, more tackles.
Spurs
more
came
corners.
to play.
Yeah. And they had some chances, some legit
more
chances.
fouls conceded. They were aggressive,
and fewer offsides on scored goals. So that's the biggest. What's the biggest other thing that they had?
There is some leaked news that maybe De Bruyne was offsides on that goal, Brian. Interesting.
Yep. Wasn't checked. Doesn't matter.
It's out there. No. So I think for planning purposes, let's just start. Let's start at the bottom. Here's who, in my opinion, you can safely ignore. Following
I like
teams.
this. Yep, good call.
Burnley, Sheffield, and Luton. I think that seems
ignore all players.
Seems obvious enough that you are not spending a transfer or taking a hit,
and or even having them in your starting lineup.
For one of the relegated teams. It seems an insanity.
Unless one of them is your relative, then it makes sense.
I would say Burnley and Sheffield, obviously, they're out. Luton, mathematically not eliminated, but the likelihood of it is so tiny.
It would take them winning 6-0 and Forest losing 6-0 to swing a 12-point goal differential.
Exactly. Right. And so, I suppose you wanted to go nuts and put Carlton Morris or something like that. Hey, Doughty got an assist. You swapped Doughty out.
Finally.
Doughty ended up getting an assist this week.
That's all I needed to do to energize him was sell him.
Either way, I just think you're not bothering with them. West Ham.
Hold on, real quick. We mentioned this last week.
What?
The irony of a single match week player outscoring.
Oh yeah, that is always bound to happen.
So I transferred out Romero for Doughty.
Yeah,
I took
Doughty
a hit
for Romero. Yeah, yep.
If I would have kept Doughty, it would have been
a
6-point swing.
That's a huge swing.
Right. Anyways.
Yeah, so those three are obvious. West Ham, I think we're all agreeing West Ham playing away to City on the day that City can lift the trophy is ill-advised. Look what Jared Bowen, all of Jared
for
Bowen,
the 4th season in a row.
Jared Bowen for 2 weeks in a row now seems to only be able to hit woodwork. I mean, he did it, I think, twice in the game.
Incoming Bowen hat trick.
I mean, the guy.
I heard they call him Woody at the training ground now.
I mean,
It's just
they could.
Are they actually made of wood? We're still calling it woodwork. When are we going to call
They're
it the
aluminum.
metal work? We call it the metal work?
aluminium work.
I thought it was.
I think I'm going to be comfortable calling it the metal work.
I thought
from
it was
now on.
bamboo. I thought
No.
the bamboo, they shape it. It grows
That's-
straight out from where
That
it
doesn't
is.
sound right.
The metal
Um,
work.
That doesn't sound right.
We can do it.
Come on, man.
You're not buying.
Don't mess with perfection.
The only West Ham player you would consider is Jared
James
Bowen.
Ward-Prowse. Oh, sorry.
Well, I mean, would you?
No.
Right.
Can I
So-
come back to this for one split second? This is so annoying, probably annoying a lot of people.
Talking about this woodwork thing.
In what year did they stop actually making the goalposts of wood and they started with metal? Because
Don't worry, man.
I want to know how many years.
I know how to use the Google.
How
so I'll
many
let you
years have we been saying woodwork for metalwork?
That's
Sorry,
that's
I'm
important.
done. I'm dropping it now.
While
Done.
you're doing that, we can talk about why Everton is in a void. I don't know why you would do that to yourself to transfer in an Everton player this
no,
week.
I have Pickford. I had him for the double match.
Are you
week,
starting him as your goalkeeper this week?
Unfortunately, I'm probably starting Henderson as my goalkeeper.
Dean Henderson, Crystal Palace goalkeeper.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
No, especially because Villa achieved, they're locked for 4th. So do they care that much?
No, we can talk about
I feel
that
like
in a
Villa's
minute.
probably beaching it.
Jared Branthwaite, currently the sixth most transferred in defender, and I really genuinely don't know why you would do that.
Yeah.
Why are you?
I found
going for
I
it?
found the year.
Okay.
Take a guess. This is insane. It was worth interrupting you.
Okay.
When did they stop? When did they stop using wood for goalposts and replaced with aluminium or steel? Aluminum.
2007.
No, you're kidding, right?
No,
That's his
That's
guess.
your actual
yeah,
guess.
that's my guess.
If you're close, I'm going to be absolutely floored. I'm guessing somewhere between the 40s and 60s. I will go 52.
It was the 80s.
Oh, there you go.
Hampden
You're
Park.
closer than me.
Hampden Park actually had the wrong shape goalpost until 1987. There's some wild stats, this information in here.
I
This
wonder if
is
there's a
crazy.
documentary out there. about
FIFA banned the shape of the goalpost. It's just insane.
I guess Pickford could have some magic left in him, but
Pro-
it just seems like
It's just
barring a
Yeah, Travis, I'm with you. I just
unless both of your goalkeepers have a red triangle. If you have Ederson and I don't know, and you brought Pope in or something like that on the off chance that he got a start in this double game week.
Did you see Ederson's face? He was really hammered.
No, I know his face came
His
off.
whole left side of his face was completely puffed up and bruised. His nose looked broken. I'll be shocked if he starts this.
No,
this
there's
last
no way.
game.
Ortega back in consideration if you don't have three
City players already.
3 City players. I think you
who
can.
doesn't have 3 City players?
I would say safe to ignore Fulham and Bournemouth.
Yes, agree.
Maybe if you wanted to swap one of your forwards for Solanke, I guess, just on the chance that Solanke,
yeah, but
just
for
because
whatever
he's the guy.
reason, Chelsea's defense has been a
Right.
little stiffer
That's what I'm saying.
recently.
Their ceiling doesn't seem like it's there for them when they're away.
And
away
Solanke's
to
been
Chelsea.
ice cold.
Yeah,
And Fulham is at Luton. It just seems that Fulham's such
they
a
have nothing
dud.
to play for. Yeah,
They got
Okay,
nothing. They're
you're
at the beach.
You're not going there. Wolves,
Which Luton might be able to win that game,
yeah.
like 2 or 3-0, but
yeah.
it ain't going to
no,
be
I
6.
think Luton has the desire more than Fulham does. That's for sure. But
last home game in the Premier League, Luton will show up.
Cunha and
agreed.
Hwang. I guess can always get you something.
They will.
Neto, I think has he been on? I know he made the bench a couple times. I don't know if he did this last time. I don't know if they're going to risk him regardless of what's going on. But either way, it just seems like Wolves are set up. It's just too much of a setup for Klopp's farewell game that you're not going to go to one of the Wolves players regardless of who it is.
I think Liverpool's going to go for it, and they're going to be open.
Oh, okay.
I'm expecting Liverpool to win, but it's going to be one of those games where we will score more goals than you.
Okay.
I don't expect the defense to suddenly figure out how to not make stupid mistakes and be wide open.
And I would just say, like this week, as an example, you got Wolves. Wolves were home to Crystal Palace, and it just happens that Crystal Palace's form is like the most electric of anyone right now. So, Bacuna gets a goal even in that game. It was a home game, but Palace thrashed them. I mean, that was a thrashing.
Right.
So that's why I'm just thinking, like, this is Wolves now. That was their best performance possible was at home against Crystal Palace, and it finished 3-1 Palace. It just seems like this is it's going to be that or worse for Liverpool at Anfield.
Last game.
Yeah,
by the way, I kind of feel bad for Palace. I mean, the last 8 games when it just didn't matter, no one wanted to play them.
Yeah,
like
they've been you know what it was?
They've been on
Roy
fire.
Hodgson left, and their new manager came in, who, by the way, it sounds like Bayern is trying to get him now.
yeah.
That's how incredible his performance has been this season.
Will Bayern have Eze and Elise on their team? Because then I wonder if they'll be
Palace won't have Eze and Elise on their team next year.
One
of them.
Fingers crossed.
One of them.
I think they will.
I want them to stay.
I think I think at least one of them is going to stay.
I bet they're going to sell one.
At least one of them is going to stay, but you're probably right. One of them will probably go.
All right.
New contracts, buddies. Get on there.
They already had new contracts last year.
They did.
Both of them. They're both under contract. There's no risk that they're out of contract and they're going to go away. If Palace wants them to stay, they will stay.
You mean they're not like Mbappe, whose contract is now expired with PSG, and he's going to...
His contract was... That was the weirdest thing. His contract was, hey, we'll give you all the money you want and an ownership stake if you stay. Okay, I'll stay. And then the very next season he leaves. He still has his ownership stake.
Wow.
That's insane. Smart guy. Anyways.
A bit of robbery.
By the way, he'll be playing in Arsenal next year.
That'd be hilarious.
You heard it first.
The last team I would say you're not. They're right on the edge to me of no consideration and very little consideration is Aston Villa.
Okay.
And
You
I
think
would
so?
just say, well, yeah, just that I think already lots of folks highlighting their drunken celebrations for securing 4th place. I mean, I would say them of any of the top teams, literally nothing to play for. All of their dreams have come true, and they're already defending horribly.
What a sad life. That a sad state at Arsenal. A European Cup winner who is just happy to be there.
Yeah,
Right?
I mean,
That's-
they got 4th in a season where no one was, and a 4th place that included 2 wins over the runners-up. I mean,
Villa,
and a win against the presumptive champion.
they beat City.
Yeah.
Right.
They smoked Arsenal twice.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty good. No one else came close to that. In other words, like against
As far as
those two
results
teams.
against those teams.
Yes.
The one guy, I suppose, wildest punt in history would be John Duran.
Wow, that is a wild punt.
We scored
Just
2
because,
against them.
I mean, look, he comes on for 11 minutes and gets 12 points on a brace.
Honestly, he is a poacher of the finest
Of the poaching kind?
finest kind of poacher that I've seen in a long time.
Does he get a start this week? I mean,
like the ball just comes off. It's not. This isn't the first week. But the ball just comes off of him and just flies towards the goal. It's just ricochets. It's insane. He scored one with his knee. I don't think the other one was a clean strike either. But it was.
So the ball's just attracted to him. Just bounces off of him, flies
He's
got
to be there, right?
Similar
he's in good
to
spots.
Brian, who's my favorite goalkeeper video? The ones that are edited. The guy who they keep setting, like they put in a chair in front of the goal and he keeps blocking
He keeps getting
penalties.
hit in the face.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
What was that guy's name?
I don't know.
Oh, come on.
I just know I know of it. I don't know anything.
right.
I don't know.
Oh,
What it is.
he's got that same touch that Michael Owen used to have, where he was just in the box in the right place and it just find a way to get a touch and get it in.
Okay.
I don't think that's a bad shout.
I'm just saying, like,
If
me,
you want a long look, we're going through the bottom of teams.
Hey, you're looking for differentials. He's not going to be bringing these guys in.
No, he doesn't have the stones to do that, but neither do I.
What, you have too many City players? You can't bring Stones in?
No, I already own 3 City players. John Stones would not make the lineup as he's not even playing.
Yeah.
But Duran, interesting.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm not advocating you go there
All right.
because again, I just don't. Again, who are you taking out to get someone that's as wild of a punt
Sure.
as Duran from Aston
Nick
Villa?
Jackson? Who wants him?
I mean, would you count on Ollie Watkins wanting to put in a great performance to end the season?
No.
Is he I mean,
I-
he's
No.
not close enough to win the Golden Boot. So this isn't like all he needs is 2 goals or
Okay.
something like that.
You
And-
mentioned the Golden Boot. You're right.
right.
Who's in the running for the Golden Boot, Travis? Because players do care about this.
Only
and
Erling Haaland, and then it's second place.
okay, so it's Holland after the last 2 matches.
Haaland's on 27. Cole Palmer's on 22. That's your first. That's
Okay.
1-2, and
All right.
Ollie Watkins is on 19.
Right. Palmer's not turning in a
Plus,
Abe Lincoln.
Ollie's got the assist title all but wrapped up. 13 assists for the season, 3 ahead
That's
of
pretty amazing.
De Bruyne. So
Pretty amazing.
yeah. So I just think that you're not going to anyone but a Villa attacker, and there is no Villa attacker other than Ollie Watkins that's done anything. There's nothing.
There's no need. Okay.
Nothing to go.
All right. So next match.
Very little consideration you can give to, I would say, Nottingham Forest and Brighton.
Agree.
Nottingham Forest, the
Well-
the matchup. I mean, Nottingham Forest still, like,
They have to
I
win.
imagine they still would want to win just to make absolutely certain. So just the
to clear the mathematics.
right. Take
whatever
mathematics out of the equation. Is that a saying?
Yeah, sure.
Take math
You
out
can
of the equation.
absolutely
I feel
take
like
mathematics out of an equation.
there's a
That
pun-
seems
there's a-
wrong, but
There's a pun in
let's
there
go with
somewhere. They're at Burnley, so real nice. And then, like, Hudson Odoi has been good. Chris Wood can't score, but he's getting tons of chances. So, like, he's an option. Morgan Gibbs-White has been very good all season. So, like, as a very safe but
Yeah.
like a boring choice, I suppose, but somebody who can get something. But I just think, what is the possibility for them that being safe for the most part equals just a lackluster performance?
Yeah.
So that's the downside for that. And then Brighton's the same. Like, today, I would say we're lively, had some good chances, but Chelsea, but without the red card, it should have finished 2-0.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 2-0 if they finish full both sides
fair.
full strength. So, but Joao Pedro, look, he got an assist on the goal at the end of the game here. Hit the woodwork. Still looks like he cares, and presumably as long as he's out there, he's on penalties. I still think that's the same. So, again, what player that you've gotten in the last 3 weeks are you swapping out for him? You're not going to him.
Right.
Is what I
Right.
don't think so.
Right.
And then the midfield, like Adingra, took 6 shots this week, which was 4th most. 19 touches in the opposition box in the 2 games of this double game week, which was second only to Anthony Gordon.
I was going to say, it sounds like a lot.
That's a lot. So Adingra has been, we talked about him, I think, even
Okay.
last week a little bit. I think you brought him up maybe.
I think,
Just-
he was
He's
player of the
he's
match
looked
last week.
fantastic. And so, yeah, not very efficient. 0 shots on target for him in the double game week, but still took a lot of shots and, yeah, looked really good. And, hey, Julio Enciso is back. Go ahead.
Julio and Cisa.
No, I thought you were going to say who. I thought so.
Who?
Seven shots for Enciso in the double game week, which was tied for 3rd most this week. And he's played a majority of minutes since he got back from his injury here. So he played a majority minutes, 66 minutes, 84 minutes in the double game
Okay.
week, despite the tight turnaround. And
That's good.
So
and they play who do they get this week? Manchester
at
United.
home. United at home.
So yeah, I mean that's okay.
United is hit or miss, and they were hit today. So So the easy math is you need 4 teams, right? Because you can only have 3 from each. So you need 4 teams. So we said City, Arsenal, clearly.
So that after Brighton and all the teams we just mentioned, that's it. Like you're probably not going to anyone there. The minimum you could do is think about Nottingham Forest and Brighton players. The only real options and where you're going to buy your players from, let's be realistic here. City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Tottenham,
Spurs.
Chelsea, Newcastle, Crystal Palace, Manchester United, and I say Brentford. But I say Brentford for 2 people. Really, I'd say one. I'd say one person. I think realistically, one person.
Vissa.
It's
So,
Mbuemo.
I'm considering.
Really?
So let's start with with City. Like, no need to debate the lineups here. They're starting their strongest side. Pep, there's no rotation here.
For sure.
The players that got them, the players you've seen that have started the last
2
however
matches,
many
they're
weeks,
doing
those
it
are the
again.
ones who are starting.
Except for Ederson.
Right. Gvardiol's your end of season hero. I think we can all agree he's the late season MVP. Look at his insane last 6 games.
I can't even fathom
Just
that.
think if he follows this pattern. 12-6, 15-6, 21-6. He will score a 29 if he follows this pattern this week. His single week score for game week 38 will be 29 points. You would be insane not to triple captain him this week.
I'm not.
If the pattern holds.
I might captain him.
Somebody did. One of the was it above average?
Really?
Somebody from one of the popular pods did. They captained Gvardiol.
Wow.
That's a huge score this week, my guess is.
You know what, though? It's funny. We say that is a bold move, but when you look at the numbers, you're like,
It's
that
hard
really
to say
wasn't that
no.
bad of a big
City
of a
at
bold
home
move.
and a guy who can't seem to stop scoring goals.
He had chances in the Spurs match, too.
Yeah. Haaland, Foden, De Bruyne, there are no numbers. There's no argument for or against them. They're simply good picks. However you want to arrange them, they're good choices. However you have your team, and then the only other guy would be Ortega,
Yeah.
who looks like he's going to start. What I think is he 3.7? He might have dropped more.
If only.
Check it
there was a
out.
way.
Either way, he's one of your cheapest possible goalkeeper options. And if you do not have a third,
3.6.
there you
Brian.
go. He might be the cheapest player in the game, which is absurd.
3.6 Ortega.
Anyone else that you're picking for Manchester
insane.
City, other than those players, you're doing it just to be different.
Right.
That is purely contrarian. That is the only reason why you're picking, I don't know,
Sure.
even Rodri
Right.
or Bernardo Silva.
Arsenal. Top picks on Arsenal.
Dave, remember when De Bruyne was offside on City's first goal? It was a
My
good time.
gosh. Yeah, let's chat that up.
Dave, your defense picks itself.
Yeah.
And I would say, would you agree with this? Arsenal defenders or Raya, the only backline players that are worth considering using a transfer on.
Yes. Although, I think Arsenal's going to score a few goals. If it's a 1-0 game, yes, the defenders will get bonus points. That's what happened this past week with Saliba. He got 3 bonus points.
Highest odds for a clean sheet based on some of the stat people out there. I think it's a 50. I think they have like a 50%, which is extremely good
been
odds of clean sheet.
The top defense all year.
Right.
I don't expect anything less. Everton has had a hard time scoring goals this year. I don't know where they rank. A proper podcast would have their exact rank on where they are in scoring goals. I would say they're probably within the last 3 teams in goals scored this season. So it just makes sense. Is it worth a hit? Is it worth a transfer? Absolutely. Is it worth a hit to bring in an Arsenal defender? Yeah. I'm not sure because
I'm just thinking like
it just depends on who you got.
Right. And
because
so
a 6 isn't worth a hit. If you're going to go with a hit, go with someone that you consider captaining.
Right. Like if you just for our teams, I know we were similar in kind of the transfers. I'm thinking even the guy that's, the leader in our mini league right now, one of his double game week defenders was Christian Romero. Like Is that like, I feel like, so, most teams, like, if you already have a Arsenal defender, you feel pretty good about that.
Mm-hmm.
If you have Gvardiol or Kyle Walker, I mean, I feel like if you had either of those guys, you probably feel pretty good about that.
Right.
And if you have one of the Spurs defenders, regardless of who it is, Romero, Van de Ven, Porro, I feel like you feel pretty good about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably your starting back three.
Well,
and then if you have Ben White or Saliba.
or Virgil.
Right.
I have Saliba, White, Virgil, Romero, and Gardeval.
Would you swap Virgil van Dijk? If you have Virgil, would you take Virgil out for Gabriel, Saliba, Ben White?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Would you take Virgil out for a hit to get Saliba, Gabriel, Ben White?
That's a good question. I would not. While you're thinking, I would not do that.
I don't.
I would.
I don't think that,
because I love taking hits. But
I think you should take the hit. You're welcome.
Okay. All right.
no, I'm just
All right.
like, because I feel like that's one where because you're saying you agree.
I think they're going to get scored on.
This is not a stupid Wolves team. This is a Wolves team that is capable.
Yes.
However, it is bad. It is a bad situation for Wolves. This is not a good situation.
It's not.
They're
It's
walking
not.
into.
It's not a
bad.
good. No.
Right. So that's why I'm saying, like, if you're really concerned that you are going to get scored on, I would just say Virgil's not because you're not. When we get to Liverpool,
I mean, I'm not starting him.
You're not buying Virgil. Under any
I guess my point is you're taking a hit, right? And so the maximum that you're going to get, let's say you move from Virgil to Saliba, right, or Ben White, right? The maximum that you're going to get is 3 points. It's not, like maybe they get bonus, but let's not count on that, right? Maximum you're going to get is 3 points. Can Virgil not get 3 points from that match? I think he's going to at least get 2. Wolves isn't going to score a bunch of points. I just don't know that your net gain is going to be high on that type of a move.
I want confidence that Liverpool in Klopp's last game period for the club, that Liverpool's going to beat them 4-0. Virgil's going to get a goal and hold a clean sheet. In my back of my mind, like that happens. Now, I'm not starting him just because Liverpool's defense has been weird.
Like, look at your top transfers in for defenders is exactly what we just said. It's Gvardiol, Porro, Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel.
Sure.
For whatever reason, Jared Branthwaite is 6th, and then Van de Ven is 7th. That's it. And then Romero is not far off. Trent, lots of people going for Trent. Comparatively to other
honestly
people,
just pulled him up,
which I don't hate that. And then Kyle Walker and Christian Romero. Sorry to the 11,000 people who had already transferred Reece James into their team going into game week 38.
Wow.
Really, really not sure what you're thinking doing
That's
that
wild,
and
man.
at all, much less doing it before the match was
The
over.
Reece James fan club.
I'll tell you what, man. Maybe it gets rescinded. Fingers crossed, guys. Probably not happening. Either way, yeah, I mean, it's obvious what people are already doing. That is already the sensible thing to do. And I would put those guys, however you have them arranged, I would put White and Gabriel for sure.
Sure.
I would put them ahead of. No, I think that's right. The only argument would be with Porro.
Okay.
Because you'd still take Gvardiol, given recent performances. You'd take him over anyone else.
Goal scoring performances. He's like scoring more goals than anyone
and
right
then
now.
I think White, Gabriel, Saliba, Porro, Romero, Van de Ven. And I want to talk about those numbers when we get to Spurs.
All right.
Saka, Dave, subbed early this week. Fine?
I don't know. And I am going to not. I'm probably going to transfer him out.
Okay.
I think
You have him.
Yep.
Confidence level 8 out of 100. Confidence level 35 out of 100.
Out of 100 confidence level to start, probably like 20.
Really?
Yeah. For whatever reason,
You think he might not start?
I think he might not play.
Okay. Jeez.
I-
Come on, man.
I don't think this injury's serious, but I just don't like. He's played a lot of games. He's been dinged up. Like, how many times is he going to get dinged up and like continue? And I know I said last week, like he's like Son. It doesn't matter if he's dinged up. He's going to go play. He might play. My thing is he hasn't been playing at a high level. So even if he plays, I don't want him. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to sub. This is what I'm considering: moving Saka for Son, and then Gordon for Havertz.
Okay.
I think
I like that.
I think that's going to be my move this week.
I like
At
that.
minimum, you have Son.
Yeah.
You don't have Havertz.
I don't.
And the Spurs played so well against City, and they're at Sheffield, and I just feel like Ange is going to make them just grog smash.
They might.
And
They
Sonny
might.
gets a hat trick, and that's in the pit of my stomach. That's what it feels like.
So it'd be hard to ignore Saka getting a 13 and a 10 or whatever he had 3 games ago.
No way. There's no way that happens.
Okay. For what it's worth, last 6 games for Arsenal, because I love 6 this week. 6
Okay.
is my arbitrary.
Okay. Yeah. Changes
time
from week
frame.
to week. Okay.
More chances created than Martin Odegaard.
Soccer.
20 chances created to Odegaard's 17.
Weird.
And then you factor in that he's not number one because Cole Palmer's number one. He's in the top 5 for shots, and he's outshot Odegaard 23-15 with 8 shots to 2 on target. That's Saka versus Odegaard. Just giving those two as a comparative.
Is he
Just
out
saying,
shooting Havertz?
to me, I'm saying Odegaard is he's one of the top midfield transfers in. He's more transferred in than Saka is, and he's more transferred in than Trossard is. And to me, it doesn't make
You said
sense.
more transferred in the soccer. Did you mean Havertz?
No. Havertz is by far the most transferred in Arsenal midfielder.
Oh, okay.
So that to me is right. I'm just saying Odegaard, like, he's the number 5. He's number 5 for midfielder transfers in right now.
Okay.
I don't understand that. I mean, I guess
I don't understand that
Would
either.
you?
I'm a little bit
even
confused.
think about that?
I'm a little bit confused by Odegaard's ownership over Havertz. Havertz is at 8.7. Odegaard is at 17.4.
Havertz is only 8.7?
Yeah, his it's low.
Especially given that
Overall,
Odegaard,
it's extremely
especially given
low.
that Odegaard is a whole $1 more expensive. That
Who
makes no
scored
sense.
more points than Havertz in the last 8 match
I will
weeks?
tell you, no one has.
You could go back,
That's very
honestly,
strange,
to
man.
match
The other
week
thing-
25.
The other
know
thing
what's
that's
going on with
weird,
that.
Odegaard, as far as chance creation, he's fantastic. But 2 games since Christmas with an XG that was over 0.28. Okay, he's played however many. We're on 20 games basically since
Sure.
Christmas.
Sure.
2 times. So his highest XG was 0.28, except against Sheffield in game week 27, where they just smashed them, and he had an XG of 0.69. He scored 1,
Okay.
and a 0.70 against Bournemouth 2 weeks ago. That's it. He has, to be fair, he scored 4 goals since Christmas, but Havertz and Trossard have scored 4 goals each in the last 6 games.
Right. For
Yeah.
sure.
So that's why I'm not really sure why, other than Arsenal's playing a green rated team, the matchup is green for Arsenal. I need to get an Arsenal player. Odegaard really is the contrarian choice here of your options. Dave, Leandro Trossard. Any chance he doesn't start again this week?
I doubt it. I think he starts again.
He has started all of the last 6 games.
Yep.
He has started 7 of the last 8. He has started 8 of the last 10.
Yep.
In the last 6 games that he has started all of, 39 points. 4th best
Wow.
midfielder.
Wow.
4th.
4th.
He has 4 goals, tied for second most. Only Cole Palmer has more than that.
Cold.
6
Palmer.
goals for Cole Palmer. He's tied for 8th for shots. He's tied for 6th for shots on target. but he's tied for 5th. So 12 of his 14 shots have been taken in the box. And he's had 2 big chances to score. I'm just saying, like, in real numbers, he's 4th best midfielder in the last 6 games.
So why not go to him instead of Havertz? Would you argue that?
And for what it's worth, he scored the only Arsenal goal in the reverse fixture against Everton in September.
Interesting.
I guess what I'm saying is, like, Havertz has more routes to points. Like, he has more because he creates more chances.
Okay.
And, like, in the last 6 games, like, the score in the last 6 game weeks, Havertz 42 points, Trossard 39. So that's your that's your gap in the last 6
42 to 39, right?
Yes. Yeah. And then, it's the advantage Havertz in most things. Like, but it's close. 15 shots to 14. 11 shots on target to Trossard's 5. But Trossard has 5 shots on target and 4 goals.
Right.
Trossard,
and this is not like Aubameyang finishing where he'd have 1 chance, 1 shot. Trossard is absolutely, he's the best finisher on the team. He's the most clinical guy that Arsenal has on the team.
Yeah.
If he has a chance in front of goal for whatever reason, he seems to nail it every time.
Yeah. So you're looking through and you're like, well, Havertz has 13 shots in the box, Trossard has 12. I mean, they're basically doing, attacking wise, they're kind of doing the same things. It's just that Havertz has more assists.
I also would say this:
4 goals to 3. Trossard has 4. Havertz has 3.
Havertz has the ability to score a hat trick. I don't think Trossard does.
Trossard does have double digit. He does have double digits. I guess in his locker, because he's done it 4 times this season. But Havertz has done it many times this season.
You know, a double digit haul.
Double digits in a single game.
In a FPL double digit.
Right. So, I guess what I'm saying is, I understand why Havertz is that selected, like why he's that high, but in the last 6 weeks, those two are separated by 3 points.
Mm-hmm. It's a good point.
So I am strongly considering it. So I will just, I'm not, this is not all cards on the table kind of thing, but holy cow. I mean, the numbers, and we've said it for, how many years have we said it?
It would be more fun if you went Trossard and I went Havertz.
Oh yeah, that's super fun. I guess what I'm saying is, like, we've said it the way lots of other people have. It's a matter of minutes for Trossard. Whenever he has started, if you do by per 90 numbers, I'm sure he's
even when he would sub in,
number 1.
Even when he would sub in, he had a decent scoring record.
Yeah,
he's had how many goals if only there was a way. I should know right now. He probably has about 12 or 13 goals. He has a total of 12. So,
and I mean, honestly, how often is he coming off the bench for 10 minutes?
I know. It's wild.
A lot.
All right.
Do you care?
No.
Okay, that's good.
Hey, would one of these two, if they were in your team, be considered for a triple captain?
I do have Havertz in my team.
Okay. Is he even a remote consideration for you for your double? Your triple captain?
I feel like there should be a consideration here.
I can't get, maybe, but I can't get off of City. City has to perform. They have to score. They have to score.
I might lose the podcast title or the mini league title. I can't win the Mr. League Mark, a Flecken team. He's too far out in front now. His surge the last 6 match weeks has been crazy. But I got a shot. I'm 10 points behind Brian. I think the only way I'm going to do it is I just have to go with my heart and just try to and captain Havertz.
I can promise you,
and not captain a City player.
This is not related to thing,
or captain's son.
This will be the least mad I can possibly be to not win the Premier League, given the history of this podcast and the mini league,
right?
And where this is like the Lions winning the Super Bowl, like this is This
Right.
is
I have never been this close.
this is who's in the Champions League final. This is
This is
Dortmund,
Dortmund making
in
it to the finals. You're right.
Right.
This
Like,
is
if you root-
Dortmund
if you're
against
root-
Madrid.
If
This
you're
is
rooting
exactly
if you're rooting for Madrid, there's something wrong with you.
everyone should be rooting for me.
Right.
Brian's Madrid.
I've won this thing
Yeah,
before.
at least once.
Right. At least. I'm sure it's
Three.
Wait, how come you're not wearing your rings?
Oh, I always keep them in
All
my
right.
car.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I have
yes.
them. I
This
have
is
them on a display on my desk.
this is Detroit Lions trying to beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. This is
yeah.
Dortmund versus Madrid, and I feel like I gotta get a little risky, Travis.
Yeah. I think that's enough about Arsenal.
All right, fine.
Let's talk about Tottenham now.
No, Liverpool. I'm going to go to Liverpool next.
All right.
Hey, for what it's worth, Harvey Elliott, highest scoring Liverpool midfielder in the last 6 game weeks.
Wow.
And he scored some really great
Wow.
goals too.
25
That's surprising.
25 FPL points on one goal and 3 assists.
Good for him.
He's second on the team for shots. So he's 14 shots. Gakpo and Salah have 16 in the last 6, and 7 shots on target, which is tied for first with Salah. Does he do anything for you for the last week?
Maybe. I think if anybody's on form, it's him and Gakpo right now. So if I'm
Will
buying
Gakpo even start?
Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
I would say yes, 100%.
I
he
believe
has to
so.
start.
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe so. I think Gakpo and Elliott both get minutes for sure. I would expect them to start. Klopp even actually spoke here recently, and he admitted he's probably getting ahead of himself. But he said that one of his biggest regrets this season is not playing Elliott more sooner.
Oh wow.
Huh.
Okay.
And he used it in that way, as a regret, which is kind of a big deal given Elliott's form. So I don't think that's crazy. He's pretty cheap as well.
So I'll give you this is my for example here is for me, my 5th midfield spot is Garnacho. So Alejandro Garnacho is turning into someone. I mean, he had some numbers
That's not a bad shout.
His numbers this week were
and you already
were
have
very
Gordon.
good. I do not have Anthony Gordon.
That's probably
that's
better.
the thing. So and I would say to me the higher the obvious choices are then the Palace midfielders. So
Yeah.
Elise to
point.
me are higher than all of these guys. But I'm just saying
But they don't have anything to play for.
they have fun to play for. So
Palace-
that is the
Palace has been-
the
they
been
have
playing for
vibes
fun.
to play for is what they have. to play
yes. And we all
And
know
they're at home.
that is
Right.
And they're home.
for. Yeah, they're going to go out with a bang
They
here.
don't care. They're trying to get in the England team.
No, so comparative to so where Mo Salah is a maybe. I know for me, I would need a minimum of 2 transfers to be able to
Yeah.
get to Salah. If you either don't have him or you have enough money to make it in 1 transfer, man, that's great for you. I cannot do that. So, I'm just using that as a measuring stick. So Travis, you have Salah. Your plan was to get, or your plan was to get to Salah for
My
game
plan
week
was
38.
to be able to get to
Right.
Salah. The decision point is this, though. Do I want Salah or do I want Son for the last game of the season?
Okay.
And right now, my team includes Son and not Salah. I don't think that I will transfer Salah in.
Wow. 1 shot, 2 chances created versus an Aston Villa. Is that a problem?
Yeah, I think so.
Is he off the boil enough that you're not going with him, or if you're not a crazy person and ignoring him like you are, is Klopp's last game the only thing that matters in the decision making here?
For Salah specifically?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. It's not the only thing that matters, but it is the primary thing that matters. The stats you just mentioned, I think, have a lot to do with formation and the way that teams are setting up against Liverpool. It's similar to a couple years ago where Andy Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold were doing everything.
Yeah.
And if you could stop the fullbacks, you stopped Liverpool. They couldn't do anything if you stopped their fullbacks.
Yeah.
The crazy thing was very few people could stop them
Right.
because because their range of passing was so huge and so accurate that they were just
Eventually they got you somewhere along
right.
Right.
But the problem is that there were teams that were able to I guess neutralize them, and Liverpool looked just toothless, right? And I think Salah is in that vein of form right now, where he's being neutralized as much as he's being as his form is not good, because he's creating chances. It's no one's putting him away.
Yeah.
Right. He's in the good spots, but he's offsides.
Yeah, how many times are he or Darwin going to be offside to wrap up the season?
Positioning is an issue.
All right, I'm going to give you the names, and you tell me which of the midfielders that you hear here that you would either transfer out to get Salah, or that you would just simply have over him, or that you would have Salah over, I suppose is what I'm saying. Like which of these players? So that even just by transfers in, Michael Olise.
I would want Elise over Salah right now.
Right? Would you as in you're not if you have Elise, you're not transferring Elise out to get Salah.
Correct.
You are more likely you're transferring Salah out to get Elise, probably to set up something else for your team.
Probably.
Havertz.
I own Havertz. I don't own Salah.
Foden.
I own Foden. I don't own Salah.
Son.
I own Son. I don't own Salah.
Martin Odegaard. Now there's one.
Yeah. I would look at Odegaard.
Right.
Cole Palmer.
Trossard.
I would consider that, but that's where that's the break point.
Honestly,
for me.
like
that's a break point for me.
Don't
the
you
price
feel like
is the issue at that point, but
Current
money
form.
doesn't matter right
Current
now.
form,
Though.
yeah.
Money
Current
doesn't
form.
matter right now, though.
Cole
That's the thing,
Palmer.
so he's in my team.
Right.
Salah is
You're not doing anything with Cole Palmer.
Yep.
Anthony Gordon.
Except maybe
also in my
captaining
team.
him.
Salah is not.
De Bruyne.
You playing Gordon this week?
He's
Is he gonna play?
He's in my first bench spot right now, and that's just because I currently have Van de Ven in defense because they're against Sheffield, and I'm thinking there's a higher chance that Van de Ven is going to that Tottenham is going to stop Sheffield, who's terrible from scoring.
I can't wait to get to you're going to scream your head off. I'm saying fitness, assuming fitness. If you have De Bruyne in your team and you don't have Salah in your team, are you selling De Bruyne to get Salah?
I don't think so. The only reason why I would sell De Bruyne in that situation is to bring somebody else in. Like
Eze.
No, I'm not selling Eze.
Saka.
I would consider it. He's not on form.
If he's not,
Yeah.
Look,
Saka.
No matter what.
So hold on.
Your manager,
He only scored.
your manager's going to lie about whether or not he's fit or
fit.
injured or whatever. So I just assume Saka is playing.
Travis
I
said
assume
he's not
gonna
on
be out
form.
there.
I just want to correct that. He did not score against his last match against United. He had 2 points. The 3 games before that,
he was awesome.
Chelsea, Spurs, Bournemouth.
no, that's fair.
It was 6-12,
fair.
10.
Right.
That's fair.
So he technically has outscored Havertz in the last 4 match weeks.
Right.
But
I'm just thinking.
I don't
you
know.
have to go. I'm
Man,
just
I
saying.
just-
I'm saying minimum for the transfers in just this week. It's most of the top scoring players for the season, and a mixture of the trendiest possible or best matchups going in the week. And out of all of those players, there's 2 or 3 that, given the right circumstances, you would take Salah over those other guys. Otherwise, you'd be completely content with 5 of any of them. That does not include Salah,
Yeah.
and it
That's
doesn't feel wrong.
That's true.
It's the whole thing that's clouding this is that he went for 13 against Tottenham 2 games ago. Is that what it is?
Basically, yeah.
Okay, I guess
And it could be his last game at Anfield too.
here's a -8 I could do. I could take out Son, Brennan Johnson, and Garnacho to bring in Salah, Elise, and Trossard. Would you do that?
I would not. I like some of that.
Yeah, that's the thing. So that's
Salah just hasn't been informed, man, and I
Yeah,
just don't think it's just
he's
gonna
the guy.
get
Alright.
lit. I would
I don't
rather
think he's
have.
the guy.
And I'm not selling Son this week. I'm actually looking to bring Son in. So like,
Yeah.
there's no way you can't talk me into selling Son this week. Ain't no way.
right.
No.
So that's what I'm
way.
saying. Like I'm saying you have to get down the list extremely far before you're like that, because otherwise the commitment has to be it's Mo Salah, it's Klopp's last game, and they're at home,
Right.
And Salah is the best, and he is like he's been the best FPL player, minimum best midfielder, if not best player for 5 years. What are we on?
Basically, yeah.
So I guess that's it. It's either you're going to commit to like I'm getting him no matter what, at all costs. He's going in, and then I'm assuming you're captaining him if you're going to the trouble to get him in your team. It feels like the
You'd
kind of
have
thing
to.
you have to captain him.
Yeah,
So-
probably.
I just want to put it into like, because I'm like I could do it. It just would require midfield surgery that will cost me, and it's
I
taking
think
out.
you should do
It's
it.
taking. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
So I'm
I'm really
not
thinking about it
bringing
harder
Salah
now that
in.
you say it like that.
I'm not bringing Salah in right now. Speaking of midfield surgery, my conundrum is keep Gordon or sell Gordon for Elise.
Okay.
I really feel like I want to go to Elise.
Yeah.
That's my big.
That-
that's my
it's
conundrum.
tough.
That's my
It's
conundrum
tough.
right
Yeah.
now.
For your forwards on your team, amazing again that we've come so full circle of the Darwin Nunez experience being nothing, turning into something,
Being nothing
fading
again.
back into nothing again, the full circle of life.
But don't worry, Barcelona wants him.
Yeah.
Sell him.
Cody Gakpo,
Get their
your
money back. I think
started
probably.
4 of the last 5. Why didn't he play against Everton?
Had a baby.
Oh, baby. That's right. I knew it was not. I knew it wasn't anything. It wasn't anything. It was.
Yeah.
It was just. It was that. So game week 34. Since he's started most of those games. 25 points. Not bad for forwards. He's 6th. He's tied for first for forwards. 16 shots. It's also number 1 on for Liverpool. Like we talked about that a second ago. He's tied with Salah for the most shots on the team in the last, since game week 34. He's tied for 4th for shots on target. He's 13 shots in the box, is 2nd most. Weird though, 1 big scoring chance and a 1.26 xG. Both of those are not anywhere near. Like that's not on the list. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you see any reason after because it's been Haaland, Nicholas Jackson, Isak, maybe Joao Pedro, like on the double game week, like trendy guys or whatever.
Mhm.
Like, would you sell Nicholas Jackson for Gakpo going into the last week? I feel like
Yeah.
that's a move you could
Yeah.
do.
I actually
if you're starting
I actually
two
have
or
that
3
mocked up
forwards
already.
Okay.
All right. I'll ask a question. If you had to sell one of these 2 forwards for another forward, would you sell Isak or Jackson? Isak being at Brentford, Jackson being home to Bournemouth.
I think Jackson's the sell. Isak can score against anybody.
The thing that is scary with what you saw happen today with Jackson, he went back to bad decision making, and Nkunku is back. So Nkunku comes in and scores a goal and looks awesome, and Nicholas Jackson had multiple chances to do some good things,
Just
and
folded.
he didn't do them.
Yeah.
To the point that the announcers have to say, like, this is why he gets the criticism that he does. The criticism is fair because he takes 1 touch too many. He chooses a pass, like when he finally decides to choose a pass, he chooses the wrong one to the wrong player at the wrong time in the wrong spot.
Right.
Like everything about the decision making just like this much off. Like I'm sure there's still like manager confidence behind him or whatever, but I don't know. Like
There's not
I
a lot
agree.
of confidence in that manager, apparently.
well, we'll see. I don't know how. Like, That's who you
well,
don't.
just Todd Bowley is having
That's so
second
weird.
thoughts about Pochettino.
Look where they are
Yeah.
They've had
after all this.
after all the crap, the first half or two-thirds of the season, Chelsea, the last 10 match weeks has been pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even Mudryk
I mean,
is
I
fine.
hate Chelsea, but just if I'm being honest, it's the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're a defense away from being competent.
Cole Palmer is
Couple center
continues.
backs.
Transformed him.
How is he not on the?
Transformed him.
Euro-
and they've
English
done
Euro
this
team?
without
Yeah. He will be for sure.
Gotta be.
without
no question
without
he will be.
Nkunku. All right, so that's really it. Otherwise, like you're punting on Trent or Andy Robertson.
No.
Well, Andy Robertson out. It seems like he'll be fine though for the last game.
Yeah, he'll probably play, but
You can't go to him. You could go to Trent.
It's Elliott or Gakpo.
And I'm not going
like for
to
me,
either.
that's your only two.
You wouldn't go to
options.
Trent?
I'd consider it, but I just don't.
Too expensive.
Money doesn't matter. Like if you have
It
like
kind of matters.
like caution to the wind because there is no tomorrow, right?
All right.
I guess so if you have the money to go to Trent, it's not totally crazy, but I just don't see the upside on that.
Since Trent returned fully to starting again, which was game week 34, 12 shots, number 1 for all defenders. Not necessarily what you want from Trent is a lot of shot volume because he's not creating nearly as many chances as Andy Robertson is, who is your number 1 defender for chances created since game week 34.
Yeah, the bigger
We talked about that before.
Yeah.
Same problem with Salah. Who's your finisher?
there are no finishers. Well, Gakpo right now, but
Jota.
right.
Will he play?
I
No.
don't think so. There's a possibility, but at this point,
But even if he does.
I don't think they risk him because he wants to be fit for Portugal.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, I think he always wants to play, right? But I just don't see them playing.
Totally different
That's
if this was like a last day title chase.
100%, yes. I just don't think he's ready to come back. Now, back to Trent. Sorry, just one last point. Something that has maybe not gotten a lot of attention is that Trent isn't just the de facto free kick taker. They're mixing it up. And Elliott is taking the left foot, Trent is taking the right foot, and they're mixing it up to try to change the angles throughout the course of the game, and that has been a consistent thing to try to keep the goalkeeper guessing of how to set the wall up to try to prevent, a direct free kick from going in.
Okay.
And so that is hurting Trent's upside as well because he's not getting as many opportunities as he was when he was taking free kicks just alone because nobody else could do it.
Okay. Interesting.
Um,
Either way, I'm not bringing in any Liverpool players.
You'd really rank them Elliott, Gakpo, Salah, Trent.
I think
Out of-
Gakpo over Elliott right now.
Gakpo,
even though
Elliott.
Elliott's on fire, I think Gakpo has more chance of
And I
bundling
think you
one
have
in.
more fires to put out or more viable cells in your
100%.
forward line than you do in your
No
midfield.
question. That's exactly it.
Maybe or probably.
No, that's exactly it.
Okay.
That's exactly it.
Okay. Finally, the team was. I really want to talk about Tottenham. I just think they're the weirdest
They are.
team for the game week, just because of. Well,
I don't think they're that. Why do you think they're weird?
Well, I just think that the club, like, it's the weirdest 4th or 5th place season.
Yeah.
And it's weird for them, and they've been in this position before, and it still feels weird.
Why does it feel weird?
Because they're on a terrible slide.
They're on a bad slide.
Yeah, but they just kind of had a little bit of. I mean, they played a ridiculous.
Right, but I just think you have the manager in a place where he's saying
They've lost.
you have to decipher.
5 of 6.
They're-
5 of the last 6.
But they have to
That's
decipher.
a lot.
That is a lot, and they have to decipher manager comments when he's saying, "Look, the last 2 weeks have been eye-opening for me. Like this has revealed a lot, and now like I have to go back to the drawing board. You already know, like they say, he's already going to make a lot of changes, but for him, it's just like." He's having a pointing out a fan behind the touchline who's telling him to throw the game. Where you have it's manager at odds with the fans because of the whole like don't give Arsenal the title. And it's Ange saying, I don't care what anybody wants. I want to win.
Yeah.
Like, to me, I know you are not supposed to like Tottenham, but to me, the minimum you would say is Ange is like your guy.
And just, there's nothing.
He's
If you told me tomorrow that Arteta died in a plane crash and that Ange was coming over across North London to manage Arsenal,
morbid but hilarious.
Bro.
Yes.
I'd be all for it.
Yeah.
There's nothing to not like about that guy.
I just think you are.
What about the
Travis,
16
if he
goals
was-
that have been scored against his team in the last 6 matches?
It's not great.
That's not great, but maybe he should have better defenders. I mean, and/or it could be strategy, and/or it could be his holding midfielder. They don't have. I mean, they have good players and they have good players in places.
Yeah, the revamping will
Vicar-
for sure. The revamping for sure will be. It will start because
they don't have a good holding midfielder.
Right. Well,
They don't.
Even this week, they lost Yves Bissouma ahead of the
I was
game.
gonna
The one
say.
guy who was semi-competent for what they needed there.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
They had to experiment with Oliver Skip at left back because of
Right.
the Udogie injury.
Right.
And you got, you're starting Højbjerg, who's probably, he's nearly certainly
He's
gone.
42.
No, it's just a bad midfield, and the attackers are, I really wish Richarlison would not have gotten hurt. I really am curious to see what would happen.
But they're at Sheffield, and Sheffield
Right.
is absolutely done and relegated. I feel like they got hard done this week. They've lost 5 out of 6, and it just feels like they're like, screw this. We're going to end the season with a bang,
Right.
and we're going to house Sheffield.
Which to me,
I don't know if that's going to happen or if they're just going to roll over.
I don't think they're not going to lose to Sheffield. But the
No.
question is, are they going to absolutely thrash them, or is Sheffield going to even try to give them some kind of game?
Well, I
That's
know
what I'm
this.
worried about.
There's about 4 or 5 players in the league that have ever scored hat tricks in their life in the Premier League. Heung-min Son is one of them.
Yeah. This would not be a debate about what you were doing with Son if Son puts away his chance in the game against Manchester City. If Son scores that goal, then it's a mad rush to get him as fast as possible.
And it's probably 1-1.
Which, by the way, would have been assisted by Brennan Johnson. So just
Never heard of him.
He's a player for their team.
He's who I just transferred out for Havertz.
The front
Well done.
is safe, I would say. So Son, Madison, Brennan Johnson,
Safe.
Yeah.
Madison, no. I just don't see Madison doing anything.
I'm not bringing Madison in.
No, you're not bringing him
probably
in.
Not bringing.
Son and Johnson are a good
Right.
shout, but
And
I
so-
wouldn't go any further than that.
Yeah, last 5 games, you're in real life points. It's Son 20, Brennan Johnson 15, Porro
Right.
12, and
Ryan?
then some variation of those.
Is
guys.
Son worth a hit this week?
I think so.
I would guess. I think on that criteria alone, that Son is going to take your penalties. So that's the first thing. If they get a penalty, he's taking it. Sheffield's the worst team in Premier League history.
If someone's going to give away a penalty in the final match of the season, Sheffield it's got to be odds on for it.
And
They don't care.
He's one of your top underperformers here in the last 5 games.
So he's worth a hit. I think he's worth a hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's worth a captaincy consideration.
Again, you go through.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Again, going through that list of transfers in, like he is 4th for midfielder transfers in, and I once you get through the names, like you're not doing anything with Cole Palmer, whatever City midfielder you have, if you've got
Foden
one,
or De Bruyne.
Foden or De Bruyne, you're not moving one of those guys for Son. And then whatever Arsenal midfielder you have, you're not doing 2 Arsenal midfielders, I don't think.
I'm not.
So really the question is, like, I think it's what you have. Is it Son or Salah? Because now you're in that like atmosphere of price, even though there's still a massive gap between Son and Salah.
All right.
So that's what I'm saying. Like he's one of the top players playing in the best possible matchup in a game week that is historically one of the highest scoring game weeks of the season.
Agree.
For a team that absolutely needs to prove a point to wrap up the season. And you just think, like, unless you find out he's having groin surgery in game week 38, Son needs to be I'd say a fair lock
Agree.
in your team.
Agree. It's terrifying to not have him in my team.
Beyond that, like, I like Brennan Johnson. I still think he was, he did get an assist this week in one of the goals. He's a one-on-one with, Son versus Ortega, a miss there from getting 2 assists in the game week, going double digits for the game week, which changes, I think, the perception of him going into the final day. Just straight up, just the pure numbers of what he's done. Like, he's taking a similar amount of shots. He's created, he and Son 11 chances for Son, 10 chances created for Brennan Johnson.
Right.
He is that guy. I mean, he's had some of the best chances to score for Spurs just because of the way he makes his runs, where he's putting the ball. Delivery hasn't been the best. I think that's been one of the tougher things with him in the last few weeks.
Yeah.
But I still like him. I like that he's as big of a differential as he is, because I feel like he can be very good. But he's one of those guys, like, I have him, and it's more like, do I sell him? I feel like the upside is way higher for other guys. Which is why, exactly. And I'd say, like, if it's Brennan Johnson or Trossard,
that's a great.
It's like, it's not close. If it's Brent, because Brennan Johnson is 1/10 more than Michael Elise is. That's the biggest no-brainer in FPL history.
Right. All right.
So that's where I'm saying. The defense, you have Van de Ven, you have Romero.
Yes.
I have Romero.
Yes.
It's going exactly the way that they scored this week. That's how the transfers in are going. It's going Porro, Van de Ven, Romero. Just for context, in the last 5 games, points in the last 5 games. So including this one, where Romero went for almost nothing. The points are Porro and Van de Ven 12, Romero 10. Like, the fact that Porro and Van de Ven got goals against Burnley and they managed to, Spurs allowed a goal, is like the purest pain. It's absurd.
Yeah.
Shots, Porro and Romero 9, Van de Ven 2 in the last 5 games. Shots on target, Romero 3, Porro 2, Van de Ven 1. They've each scored 1 goal in the last 5 games.
Wild.
Romero, 3 big chances. End of list. No other defender for Tottenham has a big chance in the last 5 games. Like, and then touches in the opposition box, Porro and Romero 13, Van de Ven 5. And that's just the way it is. Like, looking back now, I'm like, the numbers justified it. I don't
understand it, though.
It just is the way it happens.
Yeah.
There is nothing you can do about it. For me, I'm still starting Romero. Like, I'm going to start him this week for near certain, and I'm going to just hope that it.
I don't know
changes.
if I'm starting him this week.
Okay.
I might start him over Gardeval, but that's who he'd be competing with. Now listen, Brian, is there anything else? Because I'm willing. I want to discuss transfers quickly. I'm going to discuss who I'm bringing in. Travis, I would like, and then I don't know if I know my captain yet. Travis, if you know your triple captain, I'd love to hear it. Brian, I know there's no way you know your captain yet.
Olise. He's captaining Olise.
No, but like Chelsea, is there anyone beyond Palmer?
No.
Like, if you've got the players, you're doing it. I think we all agree. Like,
it's got to be Palmer.
Nicholas Jackson can go. It just, to me, it's more like, it's what formation.
Right.
Yeah.
And a home game against Bournemouth is good. Like, that's not a bad matchup. To me, like, this last game, I don't know. I mean, I would currently, I'm benching Nicholas Jackson, and I would be benching him in favor of one of these like super cool midfielders that everybody's getting. But like, would you like? That's the thing. Like, for me, he's not a sell. He's just simply a bench, and it has everything to do with formation.
Yeah.
You can still make the case for Madueke. you could because he's still the highest
Yeah.
in the last 5 games. Still your highest
Not
scoring
over some of these other super cool guys, though.
for sure.
That's the problem.
Cole Palmer gets back on the score sheet again today, and narrowly missed. They did get a penalty called for them that got overturned, but no, like you had Gusto. But like the Chelsea
Gusto had a good week.
I was gonna say the Chelsea defense again. Like Gusto has a good week. I can't remember. I don't think he got hurt, but there was a moment where he didn't look completely right. Now that Reece James is gone, like there's no, they're gonna need him. Cucurella
Love
again.
that, Travis.
Cucurella gets the assist, I think, on the
He did.
on the Cole Palmer goal.
Yep.
So another return for him, like continues to be useful.
a good
And
point.
he's still right now less than 5.
Yeah.
So I don't know, you want to go. I still think defender transfers would be stupid, but he would be. He's there.
Right.
And why not Nkunku?
Why not?
You want to make
Yeah.
you want to do something with want to do something with somebody that's completely off the radar for everybody. It'd be him.
Yeah,
He comes
that's
back for this game. He's 3 shots in 94 minutes in the last. Now that 94 minutes in the last 2 games that he's played.
I tell you what's better than Nkunku.
What?
I'm bringing in Mateta.
Well, how is that bad? There is nothing bad about that.
I'm ready to confess my transfers.
Let's hear it.
This is crazy. I think I'm going to take a -8.
Okay.
Garnacho, Gordon, Jackson out. In Olise, Son, Mateta. I'm literally pushing all chips into Palace.
Here's my
Palace home to Villa. Villa is out celebrating.
wow.
They got 4th place.
I don't
They
know.
got top 4.
Here's my tough thing with.
I hate doing this. I don't mind taking a -4. -8 does make me feel a bit nervy.
Here's what.
You captaining Son then?
Maybe.
Here's my Crystal
Or
Palace.
Olise.
Here's my argument here, though. For Crystal Palace, last 5 games, okay? Eze has played 4. Olise has played 5. It is shots 18 and 18. Shots on target, Eze 5, Olise 8. It is chances created, Eze 9, Olise 10. It is XG of 2 each. It is expected points for Eze 25 and actual points 25. Olise actual points 31 or expected points 31, actual points 43. It is neck and neck between the two of them
But
statistically.
Olise is figuring out a way to get
And
it done.
Olise has just been otherworldly for the last
Last
5 games,
2
especially the
matches.
last 2 games.
16 and a 12.
Right.
So
And Eze still the penalty taker and statistically doing just as much as Olise is. Those two are 2 peas in a pod. Another temptation of mine is to do Eze and Olise. I think that would be one of the least likely combos of midfield, and those are 2 dynamite players.
well,
I hope you do that, and I hope it's a -12.
I know the position I'm in. I shouldn't do this, but you know what? I'm like, screw it. Let's have fun.
Yeah.
Palace is on fire. I haven't hit confirm the transfers, but it's on the screen is confirm the transfers. I wasn't going to be playing Garnacho anyways. Gordon's got a triangle. Jackson has been, we've already discussed in this pod, somewhat subpar. And you know what? Let's just have fun. And I'm also trying to get, I know Brian doesn't have Olise and or Mateta. You don't have either one at the moment, correct?
No, I don't. But again, my variable midfielders, to me, I have 3 non-negotiable midfielders and 2 very negotiable. 1 very negotiable midfielder and 1 midfielder that I like, but that I feel like is
Okay.
is
Your
not-
non-negotiable midfielders, Palmer, Son,
and Foden.
and Foden.
Yeah.
Yep,
And
and,
then-
I have those 3, and
Right.
I'll be playing them.
And Garnacho,
Garnacho I had, and I've
and
sold.
and Brennan Johnson. Those are my 2 guys that can easily get the boot.
Gotcha.
So I'd say more than likely -4 incoming for Scott Thicktomine. But the question is, how am I going to arrange this? And I'm saying, like, Elise is going to be hard to ignore. Like, Elise is going to be, like...
Right. Especially now that I've said...
Well, no, I'm just saying, it's like, for the price... He's 5 points.
The price. Travis said, like, I'm confirming it. Boom! I just confirmed it. It's
Brendan
done.
Johnson is
Done.
5.8. Elise has not gone up to 5.8. I mean, that is wild that Elise is like this. So I'm just saying, like, this is more to your point, Travis. Money doesn't matter this week, and this is why. Before you, I wish you would have waited before you hit transfer, Dave. Just that.
It's too late. It's done.
Listen, like, Brentford isn't like to me, Brentford was over. Like, to me, Brentford was. This was like, there's nothing left. They are safe. Ivan Toney is gone. The only guys that matter for the team are Wissa, Wissa and Mbeumo. That's it. And I would just like look, this week, like, Brian Mbeumo finishes the week as one of your like a midfielder you would have rather had than a lot of double game weekers. Like, ends up with a decent return and gets to finish the season against Newcastle, a Newcastle defense that could not stop whatever this Manchester United team is. So like I don't know what to expect out of that. I feel like it's two teams that you should have probably low expectations for, would be my feeling. But I mean, they're both capable, is what I'm saying. And you've got a player like Brian Mbeumo, who's, this is as fresh as he can be, as fresh as a guy can be in game week 38, and he's playing extremely well. 25 points, 25 points in the last 4 games.
It's amazing.
It's very good, and so I just think it's probably not what it's not like I need to rearrange my team to get someone like that, but like, I think just as a reminder of, like, hey, he's got the same number of points in the last 5 games that Eze does. He's got 2 points less than Bruno Fernandes does in the last 5 games. So I guess what I'm saying is, like, that's one of those guys, like, no one's going there. You can look at the transfers in and see how far down Brian Mbeumo is, and like, I think he's one of those guys that, like, why would it be surprising that he doesn't, do the same thing in game week 38? I don't think it's a crazy choice. I just think it's going to be an overlooked one.
All right.
You do not have Bruno Fernandes anymore. Manchester United.
Gone.
This is the end of Manchester United.
Yep.
You're not doing anything with him.
Negative.
You don't have any Manchester United players.
I still have Diego Dallo on
and
my
he's
bench.
on your bench.
That was a
all right. So I think that's really it.
All right.
Like, I think that's the end of the, like.
Awesome. What an overview.
Does that help at all?
That has to. Yeah, I mean, it helped me make transfers right there. Travis. No, Brian, that was fantastic.
I'm still as confused as anybody else is.
Does not surprise me. Sometimes it hurts to have too much information.
Yeah.
Travis, where is your triple captain landing?
It is still currently on Holland.
Is it going to stay there?
Ask me.
Come on, I'm asking now.
Ask me after Saturday.
After Saturday. Okay. All right. Very nice. Brian, any idea where you're going, captain? I need to know so I can not pick him.
I mean, currently my captain, it's just because of where
Holland.
it was on Holland.
Sure, so is mine.
No, I mean,
I'm going to pick a fun captain this week. I think I'm not going to pick a City player.
I have a feeling.
I don't have anything to lose. So if everything in the Arsenal universe,
10 points. Well, you just gave up 8 of those. Yeah, and you're done.
Yeah, maybe.
You're done.
Maybe not. We'll see.
This guy.
It could be. Look, if Mateta and Elise go nuts, I'm telling you, on a Villa team that has just gotten 4th, nothing to play for, they cannot lose it. They're home to Palace. Palace has been the most informed team in the league. The Palace Stadium will be crushing them on. They want to see a finale of a show. Palace will absolutely show out in this game. and I'm betting on it. I'm fantasy betting on it.
I so wish we could watch these games together.
Yeah.
Normally we do, and I hate that I'm not going to be available to do this. Now, if there's bad weather in North Carolina, there is a small chance that I could be back in town. But at the moment, I'm scheduled to be out of town.
It's gonna rain.
I'm going to be
like
slinging some corn dogs. So supposedly,
I didn't know that. Cool.
Helping League Hicks sling some corn dogs. So
Nice. The old K-Dog.
yeah, so Golden K-Dog. If you're in North Carolina State Fair and or New York State Fair this year, Golden.
Nice.
Yeah.
You doing that one?
There's a possibility that would be a wild thing, but maybe. So it's fun things. Anyways, all right. I don't know. I know this. I'm not going to pick Holland. I will be on record right now. I'm not going to pick Holland, and I'm not going to pick a City player.
You wouldn't pick Gvardiol? That's in my.
So
I really am thinking that
I
might
get
not
it.
be a bad one.
I get it, and I
That
joked
could be
about
really
that.
interesting.
At the moment, though,
That would be fun.
At the moment, this is me just pushing Arsenal chips in. Gardeval is actually in my first bench spot. So it's Saliba, White, Romero. I think Spurs have a better chance of keeping a clean sheet than City does with Bowen and Antonio and Paqueta out there playing.
You're probably right, but at the same time,
I'm just throwing it out there statistically.
Ugh.
I get it. Statistically, Spurs have a better chance of keeping a clean sheet against Sheffield.
I don't know about that. What is City have kept 4 clean sheets in the last 5, something like that, or 5 in the last 6.
It's 4 of the last 5.
4 in the last 5. I mean, come on, that's pretty good.
That's their best stretch of the season. I guarantee it. Which credit to them.
And Ederson was playing.
They buckled down.
Yeah, you might be right on statistically.
I'm just
Think
going
about the variables.
I'm just going statistically here.
You're convincing yourself that
I'm just trying. I'm trying to find. Yeah, I'm just pushing my Arsenal chips to the middle of the table.
All right.
So I actually did not move Saka. I said earlier in the pod I was going to move Saka. I ended up leaving Saka because I just couldn't stomach. Well,
12.
I couldn't bring in. Yeah, I couldn't stomach that. That is insane. An 8's insane.
8 is
but
definitely
let's have
insane.
fun. Let's have fun. Let's just go for it. I need a Palace 5-goaler and Mateta and Elise to be over it.
I need you to keep track of who you sold, so you can do the math to see if it paid off.
Garnacho, Gordon, Jackson is who I sold.
Yeah.
Garnacho, Gordon, Jackson. All right. All right. Well, Brian, is there anything else other than the fact that do you have an idea? I know it's on Holland, and I know I'm not going to make you captain the guy. Who are you leaning towards, understanding that you might make a change? I know that I'm leaning towards Son. I'm considering Palmer, considering Elise.
And George Baldock.
And I'm also considering one of the Arsenal defenders. Who knows? I don't know. Let's get wild. I'm telling you, it's going to be Son. I'll probably I might captain Son. And there's probably not many people that will. But I'm like, again,
Against Sheffield, I think a lot of people will.
He's got hat trick potential there. Mateta would be the most fun captain.
Yeah, Mateta would definitely be the most fun. I think, yeah, if Elise ends up in the team, I feel like that's the hottest hand.
Man.
Yeah. All right.
I do like Son as a captain. I think that would be a fun way to go. It's just going to be so hard to not just stick with the guy that, like, even this week, I was so close to like this is a week to swerve off Haaland, like let's try something else, and then it's like no, like what would like if I would have gone to Foden because I'd thought about it again,
Right.
where I'm like Foden's not a bad choice, and after game 1. I would have been like, yes, I'm up.
Yeah.
This is great. And
Yeah.
then by the end, you're like, no, that would have been really stupid. So, I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. All right. I figured you would say that, but I was going to try my best to drag that out of you, as I know no one can do their second decision better than you. All right.
Not true.
No, someone
There's
else is
plenty
better
of time.
than the
There's
last
plenty
second.
of time to screw it up. This week, my last second decision at the death to get into the double week players here was to go Romero and Munoz from Crystal Palace, because I was trying to think like, all right, this week and last week of the season, I want to hedge toward guys that are like the goal scorers.
Yeah.
I want to hedge toward guys that are the ones who are the most likely to be forward, be able to get the goals. And look how that turned out badly, because the alternative was Porro and Ben White. I mean, it was like
Right.
it was like chalk, or let's get a little crazy here. And my crazy move was, to go single week Jordan
Right.
Pickford, take my
Okay.
chances with Pickford. That's the one move that actually made the -4 worth the -4.
Right.
So
Right.
anyway,
All right. Well, I announced what my transfers were. I saved it. I went crazy. -8. Let's go for it. Travis, no one's gonna say that I didn't make a move for the title. In a fun way. Brian, you respect the fun
course.
move.
Some
I know
would
you
say he
respect the fun move.
made a move for the title. Others would say he made a move
Look,
for second place.
something we can talk about, I'm sure, as long as this podcast exists next fall, something we would talk about in the off season is, like, I just think the rise of computer aided FPL models
Yeah,
that are
I'd love to see it.
driving the
The narrative.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people who are human pundits, not the robot pundits. The human pundits who put in a lot of work to make the decisions, stuff like that. I think just there's so many people that this year were like, I think I'm done here. Like, so many people are just tired of the discourse, and that might be Twitter driven. That might be just people are bad.
Yeah.
Just people are
People are
ruthless
mean.
and mean.
Yeah.
And it's tiring to be yelled at online. Or it could just be like you're watching people who are they're might as well be pushing buttons and pulling levers.
And they're beating
And
you.
as they are zooming into the top 100, like season after season, and you're like, why am I bothering with it?
Yeah.
Like,
That's how
I
Brian
don't
feels
know.
like. He's looking at second place. He's like, how's the guy pushing buttons
yeah.
right behind me?
Somebody pulled it. I just saw it a little bit ago. The rise, like the season variance, the variance is hilarious anyway. But the guy that's currently winning FPL, the guy that's probably going to win FPL, like they pulled like the baseline numbers, like kind of his expected points compared to what he actually did. And
Yeah.
it's this like mountain trajectory above what he was expected that rose and rose and rose over the course of the season. And it's just like how you manage to make decisions like that. I guarantee you he's not just sitting there looking at spreadsheets or like whatever, whatever.
You think it's a lot simpler than that?
I think it might just be that, like what other people have said, it's a game of luck. And you might just need to get so exceptionally lucky
Yeah.
because
But it's tough to get lucky week
that much.
after week
Right.
after week after week after
Yeah,
week.
you're not probably going to win the lottery, but the one thing that's probably even more true is you're not going to win the lottery 38 weeks in a row.
Right.
So
Right.
that's the part of this where I'm like, I think the fun, and this is credit to the guys who are out there who have done this longer than we have, especially like Above Average,
Right.
Always Cheating.
Yep.
Like some of those guys that, Always Cheating has been saying it for a long time, like make FPL fun again, because I think that's part of it is like, that's the reason why I think for me, just that, I don't know if we can do this, but like on social media or whatever, but like for, I think Late Riser, as far as like the FPL Wire guys, I think they're one of the most popular podcasts
Yes.
for people doing this, is because I think there is that sense of like, you know what? I don't care what everybody else is doing. Hey, guess how good it was. Like, you see the price rises, you see that, like, oh, my favorite pundit, that guy, I'm going to copy that guy's team because he's making that move, and I know that he is. I'm going to do that. Well, what difference did it make that, like, this week, FPL Raptor, hugely popular, extremely good at this, an extremely good content creator, went for Callum Wilson. Super fun pick. Like, really off the wall, like, huge credit to have the guts to do that kind of thing.
And that got you nothing.
How good was it for him to be in that guy's team? It meant 0.
Yeah.
It meant a 0 for you. And, like, I'm sure you were doing the same thing with lots of other players where, like, that guy did it. so
Week
it's
to
got to
week,
be
yeah.
a good choice. And it's like, it doesn't work like that. And I just think, it's good to have the opinions. It's good to be able to see that. And it's good to have the models. But I just think, I just feel like, I think your decision making needs to be maybe less driven by
AI models.
what is everybody doing? Like, everybody's doing that. That might not be where I need to go. And I think that is true, more and more true as the season wears on.
Yeah,
But then, there's always ways to get against that. Like Gvardiol.
sure.
The numbers were there. Performances looked like they were there. Probably you avoided him. If you avoided him, it was probably based on like, but is he going to start again? Yeah, how many minutes is he going to get? I think it entirely came down to Pep Roulette. Is he even going to start 3 games in a row? And if you avoided it because of whatever you were afraid of, you missed the best end of season for a defender that we've seen in forever.
Right.
I don't know that we've seen anything like that ever.
Right. You've missed this like massive, like those massive points week over week over week because of what? I don't know. That you're afraid of rotation. That's it. So it's stuff like that where, that's my like just end of week diatribe, but like that's.
I mean, it could be end of season diatribe. Are you happy with that?
Who knows? Who knows what'll happen? That could be my second place concession speech for all I know. Who knows how this is going to turn out in game week?
If you don't copy my team, you might be making that second hand. You're already 18 points ahead of me right now. You were 10, now you're 18. So,
we'll
you're
see.
at least going to take one hit. So it'll be 14, but still.
Yeah.
Now that I've taken it -8, you're like, I might do a -8. I still got a 10-point lead.
Yeah.
All right.
Look, there's
You
a
guys are
lot.
both going to lose.
We're not losing first and second. League Diane is not close enough.
She's gonna get you now.
I don't think she's
You guys
got
keep
any
taking all those
chips
hits.
left in her pocket.
She's just magically gonna come from behind.
All right. Well, listen, gentlemen, I think that's it, and we will come back one more time. We'll come back for a season review. No one will watch it, but we'll come back season review. We'll review the bets. We'll have to tally those up if we can find them and remember them. We'll try to run a tally on those and just kind of bring a season to the close. It might not be a long pod, but we'll do that and then
Capable of a short pod.
yeah, well, maybe.
Dave, just so you know, your Manchester United prediction going into the game this past week was a 2-0 Arsenal victory.
Okay. They got the 1-0.
So, yes, you did not get the exact score, but you did choose the correct
winning.
I guess you could say you chose the correct result.
Okay.
In that they won. So your last, if you are correct, everyone in the world should double or triple up on the Arsenal attack and or defense. Arsenal 5, Everton 0.
Oh, buddy.
That is Dave's end. That is his final prediction
Oh, buddy.
for the season.
So
Travis.
you're going with the Havertz captain.
Travis,
I
do you
see.
think that's possible?
Yeah, sure, but it's not going to happen.
No?
No, Sean Dyche won't take 5.
He might.
He's too stout. His defense is too stout for
If
that.
Chelsea can
Too
do
organized.
if Chelsea can get 5 on him,
Yeah. You think Arsenal can't
Arsenal
get 5
Football
at home?
Club can
That was
get 5 on him.
that was an anomaly.
A desperate Arsenal who wants to just praying for a West Ham draw? It's possible. All right. Well, listen, that's it. Gentlemen, I think we properly covered match week 38. I think we covered it from all angles. We talked about our own teams, the transfers we're making. And listen, I hope for FPL Nation that follows this pod that this week, may the luck be with you. May you make the right transfers. And let's go Arsenal. For the FPL America podcast, this is David Smith. Until next time.